Are you brave enough to spend the night in a paranormally active hotel? Join me, if you dare. New Orleans is known for its festive spirit, the revelry of Mardi Gras, the spicy Cajun food, and the jazz music and laughter that spills out of the French Quarter on a nightly basis.
But beyond the wrought iron gates, there's a dark side. New Orleans' history is full of war, epidemic, vice, piracy, natural disaster, and voodoo. So it comes as no surprise that its nickname is the City of the Dead. New Orleans has no shortage of haunted accommodations, but I'm staying here at the Andrew Jackson Hotel.
This landmark property is located right in the heart of the French Quarter on Royal Street.
Why is it named after Andrew Jackson? Well, in 1815,
a federal courthouse once sat on this property, and it was made famous for finding then General Andrew Jackson in contempt of court. General Jackson had arrived in New Orleans in December of 1814 to bolster the city's defenses against a possible British invasion. He declared martial law, requiring all persons who entered or left the city to report to his office. He won a huge victory at the Battle of New Orleans in January of 1815, but then refused to lift the martial law until a confirmation of peace was received from Britain. When a senator expressed his unease about the continuation of the martial law, Jackson had him arrested. When a judge ruled that the senator be released, Jackson ordered the judge to be held in jail. And when Jackson eventually lifted the martial law, the judge returned and charged him with contempt of court to the tune of $1,000, which the general then paid. If you take a ghost tour of the French Quarter, the odds are very likely that they will walk you past this building. It is not haunted by Andrew Jackson. The real terror comes from an older story. Before it was a courthouse, it was a boys' orphanage. And in 1794, it burned to the ground. 5 children and 1 caretaker were killed, and many claim that their spirits remain quite active inside the hotel.
The most common are Armand and Walter, and we have several stories from guests and employees that have encountered Walter or Armand. They say that sometimes at night you can hear them in the courtyard playing, climbing the trees. Our most popular room for encounters is room 208.
We did have some pretty spooky encounters while staying here, and we even ended up being here simultaneously with another ghost hunting television show. So that was a pretty interesting experience. Armand, Walter, are either of you here with us tonight?
This is their shelf here, and that's their toy elephant that we don't mess with.
Okay, so we're staying here in the hotel for 2 nights, and unfortunately, the ghost hunting show has got room 208, but we're hoping we can get in there on our last night, so fingers crossed. But for now, in the daylight hours, let's get back out there and keep exploring the city. The first colonists staked their claim to this hot and humid swampland back in 1718. Despite the oppressive climate, mosquitoes, floods, hurricanes, and constant yellow fever epidemics, New Orleans' prime location at the mouth of the Mississippi River was a powerful trade position. The founders of New Orleans were explorers, trappers, and traders. In 1762, the French secretly passed the ownership of Louisiana to the Spanish, and no one in the city was very happy about this. Still, the Spanish retained custody until 1800, when it was again secretly passed back to Napoleon. But by 1803, Napoleon was strapped for cash, and he sold the colony to President Thomas Jefferson, and Louisiana officially became a part of the United States. So, all of this to say that New Orleans' story is quite different from most parts of the eastern United States. It was, and still kind of is, a very European, very Catholic city. Hey, are you enjoying the video? Then hit that subscribe button. And also consider joining the Ghost Club on Patreon for extended stories and exclusive bonus content. 100% of your contributions go toward making this channel possible. And we just got these awesome mugs in stock. Check that out. And seriously, this entire channel is run out of pocket, so anything you're willing to contribute, either on Patreon or a one-time contribution on YouTube, it just goes right back into the channel so that we can keep creating more content. And we greatly appreciate your support, so thanks for watching. Night is upon us. Let the hunting begin. So you've likely gotten the sense by now that New Orleans was a tough place to live in prior centuries. In colonial times, it was labeled a damp grave for those foolish enough to settle here. One major killer was yellow fever, and there were constant outbreaks spread by the mosquitoes that thrived in the moist climate. So, in the late 1700s, the building on this location was an orphanage and school for boys who had lost their families to a yellow fever epidemic. Just doing a little walk around here, getting a baseline on the EMF meter. As you can see, we got a pretty strong level on the light fixtures here, which makes sense in an old building like this. Unfortunately, tragedy seemed to follow these orphans. And in 1794, a large fire spread throughout the French Quarter and engulfed the orphanage with 5 young boys trapped inside. Today, many say the building is haunted. Here's hotel manager Wayne Cothran to tell us more.
There's been many times that I've been in a room here or I've been in the lobby and there's no one around and I can feel like someone's watching me. But we have employees who work overnight that have heard a toy ball rolling across the floor upstairs, and they've actually heard a ball rolling down the stairs. We have an armoire at the top of the staircase that sometimes in the middle of the night the doors will be opening and closing.
Like a burned tennis ball in there.
We've had employees that have been outside in the courtyard walking around and they've heard someone call them by their middle name, which no one knows their middle name, so it's very unique. We've had several guests that have been waking up in the middle of the night, like someone touching their leg, the bed shaking, or the covers coming off the bed. We've heard stories of curtains opening and closing. We've heard stories of the bathroom lights coming on and off, the TVs coming on and off. Lots of unique things happen here.
So it's been an interesting journey at the hotel so far. Literally the first second I stepped out of the cab, some guy on the street yelled at me to have fun with the ghosts. So this place has a reputation, hence why we chose it. And I'm super excited to do some ghost hunting here. However, when we checked in, we found out that we got bumped out of the super haunted room by some ghost hunting show that's here for Amazon Prime. So I am in this beautiful room with a balcony instead, but it is much less haunted, and they are ghost hunting in the hotel around me. Literally, I walk out the door and there's a camera in the stairwell. They're all around the courtyard. So it's their hotel tonight, but hopefully they're checking out tomorrow, and the hotel will be ours tomorrow. So that's the summary for night 1 so far. So I know 208 is the most haunted room, but we're staying up in 201. Are there any specific stories you've ever gotten out of that room?
201, no. We have a room right inside the door here in the lobby that actually has a footprint on the ceiling. And it actually has been painted over multiple times, and it reappears every time it's been painted over.
I couldn't find any explanation for the footprint, but there's a lot of information on the internet about room 208. Guests who have been fortunate or maybe unfortunate enough to stay in room 208 have witnessed the apparition of a 12-year-old child that many people call Armand. And Armand supposedly loves new technology. He'll turn your electric toothbrush on and off, or he'll turn the TV on and off. There's just one pretty scary story about this man that he called down to the front desk about 7 times in one night to complain that his TV channels kept changing. It kept going to Cartoon Network. And then in the middle of the night, around 3 a.m., he woke up. The TV was on full blare. The cartoons were on full blare. And he saw a young boy sitting at the end of his bed watching cartoons. And he ran out of there. It's lights out. Wish us luck. Alright, good morning. So, we definitely had some weirdness last night. For one, these curtains were both open. You know, you see the one on the left? They were both open about the same amount. We didn't shut them. And at some point in the middle of the night, around 5? Yeah, 5. Around 5 in the morning, this curtain on the right started kind of fluttering and then shutting itself. So we didn't do that. There have also been reports of a female spirit, potentially a former caretaker or housekeeper. Some claim that her name was Sarah. So perhaps it was her interacting with the curtains. Honestly, I would not mind having a housekeeper as a ghost. Another weird thing that happened, we have, all of our devices are plugged in and charging overnight, the microphones and the lights and our laptops and stuff, but we both plugged in our phones. And this morning, not one, but both of the phones were unplugged and haven't charged. I could see how one phone would be an accident and both phones. It's really weird. So now we're gonna have to hang out in the room for a little while this morning while our phones charge, because that's how we record for the show. So yeah, some strange stuff in the front here in room 201. We had a night vision camera set up to record the entire time we were sleeping, so for the first hour there wasn't much. And then suddenly around 2 in the morning, we caught a couple of strange things. If you look down on the ground, my cell phone is plugged into the wall. That's my flashlight going on and off. I have absolutely no explanation for this. I did not get any text or calls, and I don't have it set for my phone to flash when any of those things happen. So, something is interacting with the flashlight on my phone here. I've never, ever had this happen before. When I was watching this, really, really took me by surprise. Especially because it fits the MO of these orphan boys who like to play with new technologies. So I'm amazed that we caught this on camera. Nothing else happens for the next few hours, but then... Did you see that? The camera just moved. So the camera was set up on a small tripod on top of a dresser across from the bed. And obviously no one's touching it. We're sleeping. We're nowhere near it. With the volume up, you can hear something. There's a very faint sound of something moving. And then about 10 minutes later, it does it again. We're on the second floor, so maybe it was a passing truck or something on the street, but I don't hear that on the audio. And it only happens these 2 times in that entire 7 hours that we were sleeping and recording. So perhaps this was some paranormal entity interacting with the camera or nearby curtains. So night 1 ended up being way more eventful than I had anticipated. And I'm really curious what's going to happen on night 2. After a decadent day of filming, eating, and drinking all around the French Quarter, I'm heading back for night 2. So I'm back in the courtyard of the Andrew Jackson Hotel. So I've got the compass here. It's a bit of a old school ghost hunting technique. I'm just gonna place it down and see if we get any response. If any spirits are here with us, you can interact by spinning the needle, making the needle move on the compass. Armand or Walter, are you out here playing tonight? It's a really beautiful courtyard. I understand why you'd like to play in it. We're here to pay attention to you. Are you back here with us? All right, so we're here for night 2 at the Andrew Jackson Hotel, and unfortunately, we did not get into room 208. We're staying in the balcony suite. The ghost hunters are still here, but we did get to chat a lot more with the manager, Wayne, today, and I learned that there's, stories and experiences all over the entire hotel, including here in the courtyard.
So in New Orleans, there is a paranormal society that actually has a tour company that comes to this hotel. It's the only tour company we allow into the hotel, but they will bring the customers into the courtyard. At the back of the courtyard, we have a storage building. That storage building has had a lot of sightings on their equipment.
Are you too scared? Hundreds die here.
This is after I just said that we were executing people. Yeah. I know we're like, I've never done that.
Devastation.
They like to bring candy and apples for the children. There's a toy elephant in there that stays in there. That's for the boys to play with. The one time someone actually stole the elephant, and that night no one in the hotel got any sleep because people reported banging on the door, and they heard children running and screaming in the hallway all night. There were no children at the hotel at the time, but they think that it was because someone stole their toy. So the next day, someone from the Paranormal Society brought another toy elephant and put it in the closet. So that stays in the closet, and we make sure no one takes it or messes with it. So usually when the tour comes in, this is the chair that everybody sits in, and they can enjoy the atmosphere, I guess. There's usually an apple back here, and they'll bring candy. For some strange reason, they request cigarettes every once in a while, so they'll bring a cigarette or two back here. Well, so you never know what you're going to...
Children in the 1700s, they were probably smoking cigarettes. The Bible being placed in front of this stuffed elephant also really gives you a sense of foreboding, being back here in this dark closet. Armand, Walter, are either of you here with us tonight? Are you guys shy? There's just too much attention tonight. There's too much going on. You got the big fancy cameras to play with in the other room. I know Armand especially, really big fan of technology. Put the EMF meters here. There goes the light.
The end.
Light just died.
Do you want battery?
So yeah, our light was plugged in and fully charged and just died within about 10 minutes. So that's par for the course on ghost hunting. Was that you, Armand? So we're not gonna touch the elephant, but we'll sit in here and see if we get any kind of response. I brought some candy. We'll put out a little, there's some gator gummies. So guys, we brought you some sweet treats. We also have the EMF meter. I've got a couple little bells. I'm just gonna hang out if you want to make some noise with the bells. You can jingle the bell if you want. Gummy gators. They're over here by the EMF meter. And I'm just gonna sit here and spend some time with you guys. I've been told, two of your names are Walter and Armand. I continued to talk to the boys, but there was no response. So after about 10 minutes, we took some Polaroids and headed back out to the courtyard. Just checking these to see if we caught any orbs or anomalies. I wonder if these kids have just had so much attention the past couple of days that they're a little quiet now. We didn't catch anything on the Polaroid, so I decided to give it one last attempt with the EMF meter and compass. Are you guys hanging out with the other ghost hunters and not us? I don't think anyone's here with us. Again, we had no luck, but we did make a friend, and then we headed up to bed. On night 2, Sarah said she woke up and thought she heard the bells ringing. We had hung them on a closet door near the front entrance. But when we checked the ghost cam footage the next day, we discovered the camera only filmed for an hour or so, and then shut off. Overall, I had a great stay at the Andrew Jackson Hotel. It was walkable to nearly everything I wanted to see and do. The beds were comfy, and even though I didn't get into room 208, we still encountered some pretty unexplainable phenomena. I would definitely stay here again, and if you're interested in the paranormal, you should too. I agree with Wayne, it's a truly unique place. As is New Orleans.
I had an absolute blast filming here in New Orleans, and I can't wait to come back and explore even more. So let me know in the comments below what your favorite spooky locations are. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share to help the channel grow. I am the Ghost Tourist. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
A ghost.